Because, ladies and gentlemen, we want you to stand and we want you to make some noise.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast. It is show time at Williams Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them for a breath. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. Steve Post and Erin Evernham here on a Tuesday. Hi, how are you, Erin?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Fantastic. Doing good. Survived the Midwest heat and out at St. Louis.
Was it really hot there this week?
95 and humid.
Oof. I mean, it wasn't even that warm here.
No, it was really hot.
Yeah,
it
I do remember that prediction, but I forgot because, we didn't have it bad this weekend.
95 and humid on Saturday. It was down to 90 and humid on Sunday. But I ran on 5K.
Look
Saturday
at you,
afternoon.
rushing it.
Well, no, they shortened it to a 3K because of the heat.
Really?
Yeah, well, it was at 3:30 in the afternoon.
Yeah, who plans a 5K at 3:30?
Jackie Joyner Kersey. And when Jackie Joyner Kersey does,
then you
go.
do it.
No, the track did it in combination with Jackie Joyner Kersey and her foundation,
Gotcha.
which is right there. And so the idea is good.
Woo.
The idea is good, but it was when we started, it was 96 and real feel was 103 with no breeze. Yeah, that makes the Knoxville 410 dash seem calm and cool.
Oof.
Yeah. So, yeah. So
Well, you didn't have the fireball in the.
Well, we didn't have that at Gateway. No, they didn't have Fireball there. So, but good times. Got out in the Midwest. I was, it's like the heat just zaps you.
Yeah.
And like St. Francis was running on Saturday night, and Tri-City Moa was running at Tri-City on Friday night, and it was just I did both of them last year. And I'm just like you get just wore.
Well, and walking up and down pit road with all.
I did 9 Saturday with the 3K. I was 9 miles, and Sunday I was 6 miles.
Yeah.
And it's just you get to the stage where, and the problem of it is that the reason I go to sprint car races is as much the hour or two before than the race itself. Because I like walking the pits and catching up with people.
Yeah,
well,
getting all that technical information.
Right, gain all that technical information and that insight and really bestow some of my engineering knowledge on some
Help
of them.
them out, yeah.
Help them out a little bit. Yeah, exactly. So when to me, it's like, it's great to roll in at race time to some degree, but kind
of misses the.
Yeah, I missed the event of it. So, but some great racing across the board. And let's take a look at it, our Hefner Racing product hot topics. I go around, I go on sprint car ratings. I think that's a great site and they do such a great job. And I'm just punching in and I'm sitting here thinking, no way in the world would I have Freddie Rahmer as the driver with the most wins in the country.
Yeah.
I mean,
agree with that.
but he's, and then you think about it and it's like, no, it's making sense because every time you turn around in Central Pennsylvania, he's winning. This past weekend, he won both of them. He's just putting together a really, really good season with the number 8 car.
Yeah.
And 7 wins in 2023, the most in sprint car racing. This past weekend, they Williams Grove and then Lincoln, they had the Steve Smith Tribute race, 10,000 to win. And he's also the point leader at both. So little Freddie's having a good job.
Yeah, doing a
so
great job.
We're going to talk to Freddie here in a little bit on the program. Catch up with him and just see, second year with Rich Eichelberger. And from all accounts, looks like they're rolling along well, and, it appears that, and we'll talk to Freddie about this, it appears that he's more going to be in the stay on the porch Pennsylvania posse, and that's not a negative, because everyone says, well, if I had that much racing, I'd stay on the porch too.
Something to be said for that.
But it seems like, we've had Macri and Brett Marks and Danny Dietrich and a bunch of them traveling a little bit more. And it just seems like Freddie and that whole deal are really comfortable there and good for them.
Yeah.
I mean, you find where you're at in the world and sharpen up the skills. And when the big boys roll through, let them know you're there.
Absolutely.
So Freddie's got 7 wins. We're going to talk to Freddie about it. Second on the list of winners this year, 6 is Brad Sweet and AJ Flick. We've talked a lot about AJ Flick here in the last couple of weeks. He's really gotten hot here. and they had Western Pennsylvania Sprint Speed Week. And we talked about this last week on the program. AJ had 2 wins, finishes of 3rd, 4th, and 8th. He's up to 6 wins of the season. Really, really good stuff. And you know what? I meant to go on their Facebook because they had all the data there. There was like 9 teams, I think it was, that ran every night, which is good.
Yeah.
Maybe 11, maybe 9. Wednesday night at Knox, it was Brandon Spithaler. We had Brandon on a couple weeks ago. Thursday and Friday, it was Pittsburgh's Pennsylvania Motor Speedway in Lernerville. That's where AJ Flick went back to back. And Aaron, listen to this. Saturday night, Dave Blaney, and Sunday, Mark Smith. I mean, when Dave Blaney and Mark Smith are winning your Speed Weeks races, you're doing something right.
Absolutely.
It's great. AJ Flick is so awesome. He's so good. But I just like snicker when it's like Dave Blaney and Mark Smith winning races too, alongside of AJ Flick. I just think this is the one thing I love about sprint car racing is that you get this.
Yeah.
You know?
Bringing in a little veteran,
you don't like these young kids winning all the races? We'll go tonight and you'll see a veteran go win a race. Love it. So again, kudos to everybody out there at Western Pennsylvania Speedway. Man, what a good week of racing, and from all accounts, they really knocked it out. The weather cooperated, and everything was good. So, kudos there. Speaking of Speed Weeks, our old buddy Pete Walton, he does his over 2 weekends. Memorial Day weekend, they were at Lexington 104 Raceway in Tennessee, Riverside Speedway there in Memphis, and Old Number 1 Speedway in Arkansas. This past weekend, they were at North Alabama Speedway, and then they're in Mississippi at Hattiesburg and Wynot. 6 races, 1 driver won them all. Derek Hagar. That's unreal.
That is unreal.
I mean,
to not have anything go wrong, to not have the track conditions not suit you, anything. Miss the setup.
A tire go flat, a bad draw.
Yeah.
I mean,
something.
Yes, absolutely. Derek is going to join us on the program. Of course, we've had Derek on the show. He's won the Rock and Roll 50 in the Pass. He's won the Hockett McMillan Memorial. But this is the first time in the 18-year history that Pete's been doing Speed Week that someone has swept all 6. And
I don't know if I've ever heard of that in any series.
I don't, you try to think of it, and I don't know how.
When I read that, I was like, the first time I'm like, what?
Yeah.
How do you do that?
I mean, how do you go 6 for 6?
That's pretty special.
That is pretty special. So we're going to talk to Derek Hagar as well. So other winners, we had this guy a couple weeks ago, Brian Brown. He's picking him up and laying him down at Knoxville. He's raced there 3 times because he's been out on the road a little bit too.
Yep.
He's raced there 3 times, 2 wins, and a 4th place finish. Love this. Fast Series was on Montpelier, Indiana. Craig Kinzer got the win.
It's great to see him in victory lane.
Yes, really good to see him. And one of the underlying themes of this program is West Coast sprint car racing. Skagit has reintroduced 410s. 19 cars. Not bad.
Not bad
for an area that had World of Outlaw 2 years ago and beyond. It was only once or twice through World of Outlaw races. The last couple of years, we've had some King of the West races kind of move that way.
Yep.
And they've got the big Jim Raper Memorial Dirt Cup that's now a 410 race. King of the West is going to work their way up there. But this again goes to Peter Murphy and Rudine and everybody there. It's just like we are going to reestablish 410 sprint cars on the West Coast, and including the upper Northwest. Yeah. And kudos to him. 19 cars. Trey Starks, 3rd straight win up there. And not a shocker there. Trey's been Pennsylvania posse. He's been running all over. He's been a Knoxville regular. Yep. I mean, not a shocker that he's winning, but, this is just what they're doing out there is phenomenal. And I just looked at 19 cars on Saturday night. That's really good. Really, really good. So kudos to Trey, but also to everybody out there. Peter Murphy's kind of spearheading that. And boy, I love what's going on the West Coast.
Yes.
And the thing of it is it's not, it doesn't seem like, it seems like they're doing a real calculated this, and this. It's not flash in the pans.
Yeah.
Silver Dollar's running a lot of non-sanctioned races. Boy, it seems like every weekend when King of the West is not racing, Silver Dollar's running. Which that's Brad Sweet and Colby Copeland and Kyle Larson. So it's just, you got a couple of really good people out there that are working together. And to me, I look back and Brent Kading has got to be really happy because Brent has been the cheerleader of this. He has been and Bud to a degree. Don't want to get Bud talking about 360s because he'll cuss them all out. Yeah, I mean, now he races them because he's got to race them. Yeah. But Brent has got to be sitting back saying, okay, now we're getting somewhere.
Yep.
Now we're getting somewhere. So that's cool. Oh, speaking of Bud Kading. Okay, so Brad Knopfsinger.
Mm-hmm.
Brad Knopfsinger, his grandson is racing out at Millbridge. So about a month ago, I grabbed my BK shirt, my Brent Kading T-shirt. It's just like a BK on the front and something I don't even know what's on the back. And so I'm walking through the pit area, and I'll frequently talk to Brad.
Yeah.
And we'll be talking, and the next thing you know, looks down, he says, I'll be damned. I said, what? He says, you're wearing a Brent Kading T-shirt. I said, well, yeah, why would I not wear Brent Kading? Brad went on to say that Brent Kading and Brad Knopfsinger's raced against every one of them.
Oh, yeah.
Every one of them.
Everyone in the U.S., actually.
Everyone in the U.S., yes, absolutely. He said the single most underrated and arguably the best sprint car driver.
Wow.
Ever. I'm like, what? And he said, no. He said, I'm telling you, the most underrated and maybe the best sprint car driver ever.
Wow. Those are strong words.
That is strong words. Strong words from Knopfsinger. You know, I'm just like, wow, that's impressive. And we had a really good visit and yucking it up about him and everything else. But I was like, holy cow.
Yeah.
So, but I think about some of when a couple of years ago we did a Wing Nation TV show, we did it at Auto Club Speedway with Brent. And in the downtime, he talked about just his desire, the pain of not having 410s on the West Coast be the Mac Daddy like it used to be. Yeah, no.
Long time ago.
Yeah,
it's taken a while. Yeah.
And he's just got to be, this is just, it's a slow grind. But Skagit coming on, it's good stuff. So kudos to everyone on the West Coast. We love it. We really do. And we also love Hefner Racing Products. And Hefner Racing Products, when it comes to kart racing, their Streeter Super Stands are fantastic. From sprint to road racing to winged outlaw karts, the Streeter Super Stands are the #1 selling brand for karting.
Yep, they've got automatic electric lifts, rolling stands, and there's stackers to carry multiple carts. And just like sprint cars, HRP has tire racks, engine racks, speed breakers, and a whole line of kart racing accessories.
www.hrpracing.com. That's hrpracing.com. When we come back, Freddie Rahmer joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at dirtempiremagazine.com.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. Let's go to the Sage Fruit Hotline. We've been seeing his smiling face in victory lane a lot. 7 times this year. The driver with the most 410 wins, Freddie Rahmer, joins us from up in Pennsylvania. Hello, Freddie. How are you?
Hey, Steve and Erin. Good. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it is great to talk to you, Freddie. Not only are you winning a bunch, but it seems like the pace has picked up a little bit. It seems like lately it's picked up a little bit more. How has it been? How are you feeling about the car? How are you feeling about things as we hit this point of the year?
Feel good. I mean, we started off pretty good, had some struggles, but usually as the summer goes on, and we actually get better as it goes on. Usually we're a little bit of a slow start sometimes I have been, but we've feeling good with that, and I think we can still keep working on things, get a little better, but feel good about the job we're doing and the team and stuff, and just try to keep working on qualifying and the whole night. But happy so far.
Freddie, you really seem to have Lincoln figured out. I think you've got 5 wins there alone. But Williams Grove, it seems the last few weeks you've really started to hit on something. Just in that feature this weekend, I don't know, it seemed like you passed every car on the low line in 1 and 2. Is it something you figured out setup-wise, or is it qualifying? What has it been that's really helped you at Williams Grove?
Yeah, like I think we only have 6 or 7 races there because of the weather and stuff. But like the opener there, we led a lot of the laps and then got lost at the end in March, I believe. But about 4 weeks ago or so, we won a race that was just it was like a yellow breeches race, but there was a lot of good cars there, Peck and Marks and Macri and Lance, Dietrich and stuff. We were all in the top 6 or 7, and we did just a little bit different than what we normally do. Not different, just a little bit more the one direction, and I was really happy, and we ended up winning that night, and kind of done that a lot of pretty much everywhere, even like Bridgeport and in my car, and somewhat at Lincoln or a version of it, and I'm going that direction more, and I like that, and it's like what we used to do when my dad was racing his last season and with Stevie somewhat, and but the biggest thing is like the track when it gets that point of the night, you really have to hit the corner, and you're almost in the infield with the left rear tires. So that's some of it too. Is I don't have a bunch of experience, but the amount I do, that comes into play when you're searching all over the racetrack for the cleanest spot. And I was struggling a little bit there early in the race, and then just kind of slowed the pace down and hit the exit, and it looks like you're way faster than everybody. And even though in the car you don't feel you don't have your quarter half throttle because you have no grip, but you have a little bit more than some of them other guys.
Freddie, when you talk about going in a certain direction without going into too much detail, does that maybe have something to do with the tire? Is that maybe why you're chasing a setup a certain direction and it's working for you?
Yeah, I would say we're not that far off of where we would be typically, but it seems like you have to be more aggressive to get the right, for us anyway, to keep it stuck, and you can get loose real fast. But the weird thing is, like, you can feel good, and then you get near, say, lap traffic or another car when you're racing, even in regular traffic or whatever, and you get around other cars generating loose dust, and your car's terrible. So it's weird that way. I'm not sure. It might even be tougher than before, or maybe it's just the conditions we've seen so far. But definitely the tires are a little bit different, but I think I like them compared to what we were on. Seems like you have to keep the car in the track more like it used to be.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat. That really is. Freddie, this is year number 2 for you and Rich in that number 8 car there. It's got to be good to come back for a second season and the comfort level and your own team not having to fund it out of your pocket and everything. It's got to be good to have the success in year number 2 with this team. You guys were good last year, but it seems like you got to roll a little bit better this year.
Yeah, definitely. Just like anything, you know what you're up against. They raced for a long time and did very well, but it was different what we got into. So, and then just got our motors a little better from the way I like to race or drive. Just got, we like over the winter we built a mule. It seemed silly, but it got us more organized and just all around stuff in the shop and the trailer, just all the little stuff that helps. And then you're all on the same page, and it's like you've done it before somewhat, so the routine's a lot better. So just keep building that up and go each night. And we have like 3 weeks till speed week. So just try to keep momentum going and work on some of our weaknesses till then.
Freddie, the schedule for 2023, it seems like you're maybe sticking and running for points at these places. Some of the other guys from Pennsylvania, like Dietrich and DeWeese even this weekend, Justin Peck, Brent Marks, they're traveling a little bit, getting off the porch, as they say, if that's what they want to call it. Was that the plan all along, was to kind of stick close to home and get things really rolling?
Yeah, with work and stuff, definitely get through speed week and keep going good. And we definitely like to have a good chance to win the points at the Grove and Lincoln. Mm-hmm. But then once we get through speed week, there's some races that we would like maybe to travel to, but go from there. I mean, like in July, we have the high limit at Grandview, Bridgeport, which we've been going pretty well at recently the last several times there. And then come later in the year, maybe Charlotte or we talked about Knoxville, but see how it's going till then and if it makes sense, you know. So it's for us, like for our own car and even for Rich's or anybody's, if we can make wherever we can make the most money and make sense about not taking off work or not, if we're not fresh, like there was a race last Thursday and we consider not going just because there was 4 the week before and that would have been 3 and the way the weather looked, we did go, but just to be as fresh as we can and when we go to the track, have a chance of winning versus just or not maybe getting run thin or something for the way everybody's schedule is, work and, you know, all the other stuff.
A lot of variables, that's for sure. Yeah. Freddie, when you look at this, of course, Rich's number 8 car, you're running that on a regular basis. How does it work with where you fill in with the 51 with the family car? Is that not Lincoln, not Williams Grove? How does that play in, and does that come into play for speed weeks, or are you going to run the same car for speed weeks?
Yeah, definitely. We run Rich's car at Williams Grove and Lincoln every week. We go to Susquehanna, going to go to Hagerstown during speed week, and a couple other ones throughout the year. I can't remember, but typically, like, our car will be everything else that isn't that. Sealands Grove, Port Royal, Grandview. We run some at Susky with our car. Whatever makes sense. If they ran 3 nights in a row, we'll run ours or whatever. And then Bridgeport and our stuff. It works out pretty good that everything, the way we has it set up, that to be the most prepared. And with our car, happy with like the way our motors run, and it suits some of them other tracks better. I don't know that it would be nice to try them at the tracks I run all the time too, but it's working out good. And I mean, the shop is right in Dillsburg, which is like right in between Williams Grove and Lincoln and Susky. I mean, they're all within like 45, like right down the road. So it works out nice for the team like that.
Yeah, it seems like it makes a lot of sense. Freddie, a lot of drivers at your level aren't working a full-time job. How is that, balancing your job and also some wedding planning that you've got going on?
Yeah, it's good. I have a really good job, and my boss lets me go on Fridays or during the week if we have midweek races early so that we're not rushing around to get there and stuff. I'm very lucky for that. Just balancing it out and, going early to make up time and stuff like that. But, yeah, we're busy. With Erin's doing a lot with the wedding planning, which is the week Sunday after Thanksgiving, which is exciting about that. But it's going good. I mean, I do what I have to without getting in trouble for that stuff. But
smart man.
But it's working out good.
Yeah, we had talked with Ashley and I were doing a Wing Nation with David Gravel, and he was at the post office trying to figure out what stamps to get for the invitations and knew he had gotten the wrong one. So just follow orders and you'll be well. Okay, speaking of Erin, now we have asked you about the running portion of Erin's life, and she just wrapped up another Boston Marathon in April, okay? I now see that she is racing karts. Okay, how is that going for her? How is that going for you? And you're at a different track a lot of times. What's that like to have your girlfriend now a race car driver?
It's her sister's at a younger race, a couple different tracks, but mostly the one near Lincoln and Gettysburg there. And her dad had a cart that allowed her to run some this year, and she only ran 2, and she really likes it. And I didn't get to go yet the way it worked out. Probably the next one. But Friday after the Grove, she showed me the videos and stuff. So on a piece of paper, I showed her how to possibly about arcing into the corner better and something. And she kind of just looked at me and like a goofy face or whatever. But it's going good. She has a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's the most important.
Yeah, a little piece of advice from someone who is married to a guy who races as well. Be careful with the advice and how that goes.
Pick and choose your times. Yeah. Now, here's what you need to do, Freddie. Here's what you need to do. Yeah. I think this is the system.
Do not race against her.
No, you don't race. No, you don't ever race against her. No, don't ever race against her. Okay. Here's what you do. 1 week, okay, when she's going to the races, convince your dad to go with her and kind of coach her, so that she can get the full dose of Fred Rahmer And you can get a night without the full dose of Fred Rahmer. So how now
That's a good one.
Yeah, we'll get your dad to go with Erin, and that'll fix everything.
Mm.
You might have a race again. You never know.
Yeah, maybe that won't fix everything. I don't know.
The one thing that was interesting, and everyone should experience it once or so. After the first time she went in the class that she's running with, she said she was so nervous and anxious and stuff, and she's like, man, it's a whole different perspective. And I thought that was cool because, when you're racing, Erin knows, or Steve, like when you're running and stuff, you're sick to your stomach all day, or at least I am. You can barely eat.
Mm-hmm.
And, you get rushing around or getting prepared and you get stressed out and stuff. And I thought that was good that she's seen that. Not that she didn't understand it. It just thought that was interesting after that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Watching it and living it are two different things. That's for sure. So
absolutely.
Fun stuff. Freddie, congratulations on the success. We'll be following along and can't wait to see how you do the rest of the year. But thanks for joining us here on Wing Nation.
Yeah, definitely, guys. Thanks for having me on, and have a nice week.
You got it. Thank you.
Thank
Freddie
you.
Rahmer joining us here on the program. Great stuff, man. I love it. See, Fred goes with Erin.
I'm feeling a little sympathy for Erin right now.
You're not thinking this is a good plan.
I've known Fred a long time.
Well, we all have known him. We love Fred to death.
You all love him, but I'm not so sure that,
we need him in karting. We need him in a pit area with karting, with a bunch of karting dads and moms and other people like that.
Yeah, because I'm sure he'll manage it just.
They
have a wedding in a few months. I mean, come on.
Well, we can't do it. Yeah, that's right. Exactly. That might just blow everything up for Thanksgiving weekend. I mean, yeah, exactly. Freddie Rahmer joining us here on the program. When we come back, Derek Hagar, he's up next. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st, and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Donnie Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest exhibit will be our track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway inside the museum's main floor from April 3rd through October 2nd this year. You'll learn about the beginning of Williams Grove Speedway and the evolution of sprint car racing on the East Coast through 8 of the iconic big cars and sprint cars that made up the history of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania's Williams Grove Speedway. Plus, you'll see videos of historic National Open sprint car races and other racing events that put Williams Grove on the map. That's the track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway, featured April 3rd through October 2nd at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation. Let's go back to the Sage Fruit Hotline. Joining us fresh off from trip after trip after trip, do that 6 times, to Victory Lane. Derek Hagar joins us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Hello, Derek. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you guys doing today?
We are well. Derek, you look at speed weeks, and Pete does them a little different. 2 long weekends. You look at it, and you prepare, and you go into it hoping for good. I don't know how you prepare and hope for any better than you did. 6 straight wins. Kind of describe how that all came together and how that all worked out for you.
Man, that was our first races really of the year for us. We've been busy with different business adventures and trying to concentrate on business, and got us a fresh new Dynotech engine put together, and I was hoping for a good week. To go out there and maybe win a race or two. I mean, there's a lot of stiff competition, that follows the USCS stuff. So, go out there and win all 6 of them, man, is unreal.
It certainly is. I've never, in all of my time around sprint car racing, never heard of anything like it. Derek, when you talk about it being just your first real races of the season, and some guys have been running since Florida in January, February, is that sometimes an advantage to take a little break and step away and then come back with everything fresh, everything ready to go?
Sometimes I believe it is, but then you have in the back of your head too, man. Do I still have it? Have I been sitting out too long? They've got more laps than me, but as soon as you strap the helmet on and pull those belts tight, it's like you never left. So from the time hot lap started on the first day to the last checker flag on Saturday, I felt better than I have in a long time.
Wow, I mean, that's fantastic. Beyond the driver, Derek Hagar, when you look at this, the folks that work on the team, to go through that and not have maintenance, not have a tire, not have everything, that's remarkable for those people you have around you as well, that everything was buttoned up and ready to go.
Oh, most definitely. My dad Kenny and Bill Crosswaite and Carter and the crew, man, they make sure that the car is in top shape. Every time it leaves the shop. So it makes my job a lot easier, knowing that the race car is going to be able to perform for a win. It's my job to put it up there and get it done.
Derek, so much of our sport as a driver is a mental game, and when you go out there, you win the first night, second night. How interesting or how does that work confidence-wise and momentum-wise, where you're like, all right, click one more off, and how important, is that in our sport? We talk about it a lot with drivers when they get in slumps, when they get good momentum, but obviously this was a good case of great momentum.
It was. I mean, it is all about, mental, because, I work out. I've been working out strong since the first time I got to go to run Bristol, and we haven't quit yet. So, this off season, my trainer, we went at a different angle on working out, different workout programs, and to keep me in shape for the race season. And I think it helps keep you prepared throughout the race as well, to not fall out of the seat. And lap 15, lap 20, when the race is getting good, a lot of competition's falling out of the seat, and I'm still ready to go. So I think it helps a lot, and it helps us be there at the end to have the right opportunity to get a win.
No doubt. I mean, the physical, the mental are so tied together. They really, truly are. It's just something that, just on my little running stuff that I've seen, it's just totally changed my mentality, my mindset with it. So I can't imagine. So you indicated, Derek, that you haven't been racing kind of the first time out. You got a lot of other things going on. What all do you have going on? What's all going on in your world?
Well, I still do the shock stuff a little bit. Got into building sprint car wings. Built Weiser wings. I was a real big dealer for Wings Unlimited, and I hate change. So I started building my own wings to kind of mimic what Brian was building for wing stuff, and we accumulated a powder coat business, Killer Coatings, from Brian Neal out of Manila, Arkansas. Long family friend, was ready to get out of it, so we took over and moved it to West Memphis, and we're just trying to get that going. Bought a new building, so I got employees now, so I got to make sure they're taken care of before I can go have fun.
Derek, what does the schedule look like? Does it kind of play it by year around the businesses, or now after 6 wins in a row, are you motivated to get back on the road?
Well, we had planned on doing the ASCS national deal this year, and had some unforeseen circumstances happen. So we had to step back a year and just get business going like it needs to be going, and get everything going down the right path. So with our sponsors, they're already talking about hopefully doing the national tour next year. So we already got the ball rolling on that, trying to get finances together to try to hit the road and compete for a championship.
You're a guy, and you and I have talked about this. We stood in the pits at Eldora, I think it is, talking about it. There's so many of you guys that are 360 racers that are in various phases of trying to go 410 racing. And you're already talking about next year running the ASCS National Tour. So 360 is where it is. But we've seen it. We saw it way back with Shane Stewart, the transition. We've seen Wayne Johnson try to do it and have some success along the way. Blake Hahn is the one doing it now. Sam Haferteep does it and then comes back and rolls into a 360 race and wears everybody out. I'm a radio guy. Can you kind of, I don't understand this. It seems like to me, drop the big engine and go. Why is that such a big change what are all the challenges that make that such a big jump?
Finances, really. I mean, you gotta have a motor that is performing on the edge every night, and then without any kind of backing, for us, it's hard to go out there and be able to qualify good. We can race good, but the qualifying is so important in the 410 world. The cars act different. Everything about a 410 is just, it's different. I mean, I wouldn't say it's more expensive car-wise. Engine-wise, yes. They get less nights out of the motors than what we were able to in our 360 stuff. But we tried it last year with Kevin, in our own colors, his car, just didn't have the technology and the things behind us to keep that thing going.
It's a tough deal. It really, truly is. Okay, so we were chit-chatting before we come on the air, and you said you're in the studio. What are you doing in a studio?
Since last week, I guess we're something right now. So we're at the Memphis FM radio News Talk 98.9 on the Real Deal Racing Report with Lynn Neal and Rick Taylor, recording a show for Saturday morning.
Nice. I love that. I love radio stations. So when you said you're in studio doing it, that is cool. So Saturday morning, the Real Deal, what is it called again?
The Real Deal Racing Report. It comes on at 10 a.m.
10 a.m.
on
right?
Saturday morning. Every Saturday morning.
Man, oh man, that is awesome. That is really, really cool. Awesome indeed. Great, great run for you guys winning those races. Derek, we appreciate the time here joining us on Wing Nation, and wish you continued success as you go forward.
Well, I appreciate it. Thank y'all for having me.
There we go. Derek Hagar joining us. One of the really, really good guys. Really love that. Met Derek one of the first times at PRI. PRI, one of my traditions is to go hang out with, it started with Terry Gray and Morgan Turpin. Morgan's married now, and shame on me for not knowing. Oh, gosh. Oh, I'm an idiot. Morgan, anyhow. Okay, I think she's still
her
racing.
racing name is
her racing
Morgan
name.
Turpin. Yeah.
Her racing name, Crocker.
Yeah,
Her racing
exactly.
name was, exactly. So, but then I've gotten to just meet so much of that deep South Memphis connection. Derek was at the Tin Roof, I think it was, where we were at, and just having a great time. I love that connection, and Derek's just such a good guy, and really enjoyed seeing him have the success. So, what's that? Havener, that's right, exactly, yes. It's Turpin in the press. I think Pete's probably like me writing those press releases. It's Morgan Turpin. It's going to be. So, but yes, absolutely. So, but I always had so much fun. And Derek was there one night, and Marshall Skinner ran into Marshall Skinner one night. And of course, when you were Terry Gray, everybody knows him. I mean, everybody. When you go out at a motorsports vicinity with Terry Gray, you think you're with freaking Elvis. I mean, it's just like people are pointing across the room and everything like that. It's awesome. So, so much fun with that gang. It was so great to meet Derek a couple of years ago and follow along with his journey. So let's step away. When we come back, speaking of Hall of Fame, Terry Gray, a Hall of Famer, we'll talk about a little about the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and a whole lot more. The Outlaws are headed back to the Pacific Northwest. Join us for 3 action-packed nights of racing August 31st, September 1st, and 2nd at Skagit Speedway when the World of Outlaw NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars return for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals. Kickoff for the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals begins Wednesday, August 30th with a pre-race party, live band, Sage Fruit apple giveaways, and more. Then catch Johnny Schatz and the rest of the World of Outlaws as they take on Washington's best sprint car drivers Thursday, Friday, and Saturday nights. Details at SkagitSpeedway.com.
Dirt Empire Magazine is the ultimate dirt track racing only magazine in the world, featuring interviews, opinions, event photos, tech, and 100% racing action. Each issue includes late models, modified, sprint cars, and more. Big event photos from the best photographers in the sport, and great one-on-one interviews with the top drivers as well as grassroots racers. Pick up a copy of Dirt Empire Magazine today at select Tractor Supply stores or other area retailers, or get your subscription today at DirtEmpireMagazine.com.
As we roll along, you kind of start to think back about different things, and I had a Facebook memory show up today. 8 years ago today, 2015, Wing Nation, which was an audio podcast, we were kind of podcasting before podcasting was
really
podcasting. We really were.
Yeah, trendsetters.
Yeah, we were. It was called Pod Tracks is what we called them at MRN at the time. But MAV TV had reached out and wanted a television program of our Wing Nation pod track or whatever it was. And 8 years ago today, Kendra Jacobs, my co-host at the time, and I, with our guest Kyle Larson, debuted on MAV TV, and we've been going strong. Ashley and I still do the show every week.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool. It's amazing how time flies when you're having fun. No doubt about it. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame Museum birthday calendar, Norman Buddy Jones earlier this week. Later this week, Sherman Red Campbell, Leo Goosen, that is. The man from Mifflintown on Friday. Of course, now there's the woman from Mifflintown, Ashley Stremme.
Well, yeah.
But he's the man from Mifflintown. Chuck Merrill, Dwayne Pancho Carter Jr. This past weekend was induction weekend, and Ken Hamilton, Corey Cruzman, Bobby Marshall, Joey Saldana, Chad Kavanaugh, Johnny Caples, Paul Hazen, Tommy Sanders, Max Nobler, Alan Kreitzer, Ralph Shaheen, and Johnny Vance. Following along on social media was fun.
Yeah, it was.
The Saldana McMahon party was out there just doing what the Saldana McMahon party does, having a great time. One of the good fellows was Doug Clark. Doug was fascinating just because it's like a reunion for Doug when they roll in here. And so kudos to everyone on that class and to Bob Baker and everyone out there on a great induction weekend. I know USAC got rained out on Friday night, but they got a chance to race on Saturday, and watching those non-wing sprint cars go around there is pretty cool.
It's fun, yeah. It is neat to see.
It is good stuff, for sure. All right, we don't have to wait long tonight. High Limits, Eagle, Nebraska. They have 40 entries locked in on Flow Racing. Going to be fun to see what happens here. See if we can stop Kyle Larson.
Oh,
my gosh.
Goodness gracious.
He's tearing it up.
He really is.
Isn't he?
And then over at Knoxville, we got the big prep weekend for the Nationals. The World of Outlaw Sprint Cars, Friday and Saturday night.
Going to be awesome. This is cool. Was so bummed earlier this year. They had that early weekend, that April weekend. Yeah. They got rained out. And so here we go. We finally get the Outlaws into Knoxville. Be interested to see how Brownie stacks up. He's been good there. Kerry Madsen won last week. We'll see what he does.
Austin
McCarl's always good there. Going to be interested to see good and outlaw good. We're going to learn a lot this weekend. So it's going to be fun to see, that's for sure. And we are going to have fun. I'm not sure the teams are good. Well, they are going to have fun. 41st edition of Ohio Speed Week. It kicks off this weekend. Friday night Attica, Saturday night Fremont, then Sunday and Monday at Wayne County. We're getting ready to go 8 races in 9 nights for the All-Stars. So, and by the way, one of the things we've talked about and is Stephanie Linder always gathering stuff. She is not in a spot where she can distribute things this year. But what Stephanie has done, and it's on her Wing Nation group, I just put it there an hour ago probably. Stephanie has created a list of items. So those of you that are going to races, there's a list on our Facebook group, our Wing Nation Facebook group, and she just asked that you just do it directly with the team. So if you're a Justin Peck fan or a Hunter Schoenberg fan or a Sunshine fan, and think about the teams that are not up front winning races, the ones that are slugging it out at the back as well, and whether it's a case of water or some paper towels, she's got a great list there. Stephanie Linder is just salt of the earth. And she's not able, in most cases, she would gather it all up and then she'd just carry it around Ohio and just distribute it. She's not able to do that this year. And so she's asked that everyone kind of work on your own deal. So please, if you've given in the past, make sure you do it and pick one of those teams, pick one of those drivers, or an out-of-town guy. You got Dietrich over there from Pennsylvania. They're living out of a hotel. Just figure ways that you can get involved with this. And we're going to take the Ohio stuff. And if you're over in Pennsylvania in a couple of weeks, do the same thing, support your teams. Fun stuff for sure. So great. Good talking with Derek Hagar and Freddie Rahmer.
It was.
2 guys that are both very, very busy away from the racetrack.
Yeah.
And still find time to slide between the frame rails and do good.
Yeah, and win some races.
So yeah, pretty good stuff. Between the two of them, 13 wins this season. And really, a lot of Freddie's have been late, although he did win the icebreaker. He did kick off. I was going into that, and I'm like, well, wait a minute. The kid did win the icebreaker, so, but it's all good. It's all good. So, great stuff. Speaking of great stuff, coming up this weekend or later this week, Wednesday on Rev in Canada, 7:30 or 8:30 p.m. Friday on MAV is our Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit, our show that's of 8th anniversary right now. 100%. Hunter Schoenberg joins us, and he was great. Oh, and he teased his son Whelan has now got a GoPro, and they're doing video shows. And the next one, he didn't tease it on there. He told us afterward. The next one is Whelan takes the crew mini golfing. And he says this is going to be this could be viral GoPro. So, but Hunter Schoenberg joins us this weekend, that's for sure. So fun stuff, and really do appreciate it. We appreciate Freddie Rahmer and Derek Hagar joining us here on the program. But more important than all of that, thank you for joining us this time here on Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit.